Hey, welcome back to the Red Light Show with the hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful kingdom of Thailand on amazing great Sunday night, October 26, 2025. Halloween weeks. And hopefully we're going to ready for Halloween. But of course, every Sunday night we do the recap of the Montreal Canadiens. And this week they play 4 games. A lot of things to talk about. And then also going to preview the upcoming week. And every 10 game during the season, we do an evaluation of each players, and we're going to keep their letters, their ranking during the year. And then every tranche of the 10, we're going to evaluate where they're at, how many points they have after 10 game, and all the way to 20, 30, 40, until to the end of this season, 25, 26. Of course, we're going to talk about something in NHL. Busy day. And NHL today, 8 game for the Sunday in October. It's rare, but look like it's going to be a very good week in NHL too. Don't forget Tuesday night. This started with a couple of years ago with ESPN, the Frozen Night, right? Everybody play every 15 minutes. So Tuesday night, it's happened only one time this year. For some reason, maybe the Olympics, I don't know. But it's happening Tuesday night. At ESPN and on the NHL. So the game start at 6 o'clock, 15, 6:15, 6:30, all the way to the end. So it's going to be fun to be all to get out. The Wild, the Shark cannot win. The Wild just tied the game with 2 minutes to go remaining. 5-5 between the Sharks and the Wild. The Kings lead 2-1 against the Blackhawks. The Predators lead 2-1 against the Stars. The Rangers losing 2-1 against the Flames. Maybe later, guys, the Oilers is going to play against the Canucks. And then the Avalanche lost today again, 4-3 in overtime. The Devils, 8th straight game for the Devils. The Mammoth beat the Jets 3-2. And also, Golden Knight lost 2-1 in overtime against the Lightning. Lightning looking a little bit better. 2W, I believe, for them, and the last is on the weekend. So, not only busy on the NHL, we're talking about, Coach, but we are really busy at the Hockey Nation. The morning, we do a French show. The night, we do other things, baseball tomorrow night, and then we grow the channel. We are proud to have the sponsorship for the Hockey Hot Stove and now the vividc.com. And of course, we are busy enough to say, you know what? We have the full house tonight. The Stars just tied the game 2-2, by the way. And not only one, but we double. We don't have the double in our tap, but we have a double Slaf tonight that come to join me and in our tap on the, of course, on the red line. Back from Hawkesbury, back from Toronto. They are ready to talk about Montreal Canadiens. Welcome back, both of them, Mr. Enortap and Mr. Marco Larrabee is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach Marco. What a great opportunity to have you join us tonight. It's always great when you're here with us. And welcome to everybody from Hockey Nation. It's a great time of the year. We're getting into the thick of many different things, not just in hockey, but our Jays, of course, are in the World Series, and it's going to be an exciting finals here. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the Jays can continue their good streak all the way around. But Marco, before we go on, please tell us about your birthday last week. How'd it go, buddy?
It's pretty good, man. Hey, hi to everyone. Yeah, very excited to be joining you guys on the Red Light Show. Lots of fun. Always awesome to connect with you guys. And you're right, like 10 games in, really exciting time. So happy to be here. Birthday was good. You know, nothing too special. You know, like at our age, Enortap, you know, like birthdays are kind of interchangeable, you know, at this stage. So very nice. You know, got to hang out with family and friends a little bit, and took the day off work just to relax a little bit. 4 years
Good
away
stuff.
from senior discount, so still a couple years away. But I'm starting to research what that's all about, right? Like, so, but kind of looking forward to that, like getting a seniors discount at some point. So should be good, man. It was a good birthday. I saw you guys sing me happy birthday, so thanks for the well wishes. That was really cute. Thank you very much, and I'm very excited to talk some Habs tonight. Should be a good time.
All right, Enortap, it looked like he did not get the memo. Red shirt, Enortap.
I know, eh? You
I
get
know, for Marco.
the old
For
one
Marco.
going.
Marco, he
That's
did
that
not
one
get a
right there.
memo in Enortap. It's okay.
That's okay.
Don't worry about that.
We'll send
RJ
the boy.
Carabo is in the house. RJ Carabo, welcome back. Audio Murphy also with us. Thanks to be with us, Mr. Audio. Billy from Nova Scotia knocked the door. Welcome back. Billy said, it's always Sunday night. I don't like it because I have to work tomorrow morning, but it's okay. Billy, you
Yep.
still have only 5 days before you come back next Saturday. So it's not a big deal. PS knocked the door. Welcome back, PS. Mr. Unicorn knocked the door also. Thanks. Michael Willen back in the house. Welcome back, Sebastian, with all the comments.
Welcome.
Appreciate a lot. And then we have PLW go with tonight, Monsieur Enortap. McDavid et Trussalol with more than 2 shots each tonight. Yeah, that's
Ooh,
the
that
easy
sounds like an
money
easy
right
one.
there. I will give it to you. M&M knocked the door. Welcome back, M&M. Thanks to be with us. Pete Martin, ladies and gentlemen, is in the house, followed by the teammate and light mate, Mr. Guy, beside Mr. Billy. Then we have Casey. I was at the game last night. Thanks all of the Habs fans showing up for the boys. Not as many jerseys as the 80s, but we have 50% of the end of the day. Great, Casey. Looked like it was a great evening for the Montreal Canadiens also. So I think it was a turn to be a great night for you, and it's great to see a lot of people from go to visit Montreal everywhere they are on the west side. Gary C knocked the door. Welcome back, Gary, and thanks to be with our Canadian show. Kenneth K&K, another member of the squad of tight end, Mr. Kenneth. It's a little bit chilly this morning, Kenneth. More chilly in the north, Kenneth, at Pattaya. By the way, Gary knocked the door. Thanks so much to be with us, Mr. Gary. Look forward to talk to you tonight. And then who we have before we start, Standerman, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Happy birthday, Marco, from Standerman, Mr. Marco. So glad to see that. And also available with all the news left and right about it. Stefan, guys, from Sweden. Talk he's chilly here. It should be very cold in Sweden. I think Stefan moved. I think he was in the north. Now he's going south. I'm not exactly what happening with Stefan, but glad to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. You and your family, your dad. And we miss you. Stefan, guys, you don't know his story. Stefan is from Sweden. Yamo is from Finland. Both of them show up at the same show one night 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, when we start. And now they talk together and become friends on the chat. And for a couple of years, at least 2-3 years, there was always. Stefan had a bar, Marco, and a sport bar for many years. So it was closed the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was the right time for watching the Montreal Canadiens play at the same time. So he came a couple of times. Now he doesn't have the bar anymore, but just glad to see you, my friend. And Mr. GF Dubé, de retour avec nous ce soir, bon GF. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. We appreciate a lot. Usually we start with the NHL news, but we're going to start right away with the Montreal Canadiens. We have a couple of conversations to talk about tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. And nothing much, other than the fact the news for the Montreal is honestly Patrick Laine happening during the weekend will be out for 3 or 4 months. But nothing else, like honestly, around the Montreal. Very quiet, that news. For the Montreal. So we don't want to spend too much time about Patrick Laine, but let's talk more about what happened last night. Again, the Vancouver Canucks, honestly, great performance overall for the Montreal Canadiens. Whatsoever, did not start the game really properly. And let's see what we got here, guys. And then we can talk about the game overall. So Montreal Canadiens went for the score 4-3 yesterday against the Vancouver Canucks. And we have a couple of goals here. Suzuki scored 1 goal, his second of the season. He's on the streak of 9 games with at least 1 point per game, the most active right now in NHL. Mike Madison, his 3rd goal of the year already with them, with the Montreal. Slafkovsky, 1 goal, power play goal, 2nd goal of the Montreal power play. 1 assist, 2 points for Slafkovsky last night. Demidov have 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. First career of 3 points in NHL with a goal-winning game. And then Tobash is the first goaltender, start 2 seasons back-to-back with a record of 5-0-0. Great performance yesterday again. Whatsoever, he gave 3 goals. I think finished with 0.903 or 09, honestly. But a good performance overall of course, of Tobash. That give you a little bit an idea there. I'm going to give you a little bit one more thing before we talk a little bit more about some things. But very bad first period for Montreal Canadiens. They respond with 4 unanswered goals and then 2 power play goals yesterday. I think it was the second time this year they scored 2 goals on power play. If not, maybe that was the first time. Maybe you have a reason why we scored 2 goals on power play. We'll talk about this, and then I'm going to go a little bit more deeper, guys. So let's start in with Marco about the overall that game and what pay you attention during that game.
Well, excuse me. I think you're right, Coach. Very, very tough start to the game. Probably their worst first period of the year so far. Just not able to really kind of get anything going in the offensive zone. Just a lot of one and dones. Vancouver, obviously they've had a bit of a tougher start to the year compared to, say Montreal. And, similar to kind of what they faced against Calgary, right? Just a really hungry team and just had a little bit of difficulty kind of breaking out of their zone. We know that probably one of the key parts to Montreal's success here in the early part of the season has been their ability to break out in their transition game, not spending as much time in their zone, spending more time in the offensive zone. So, for my money, Coach, and this goes to show that, the score doesn't mean everything in the NHL. How Martin Saint-Louis likes to say a lot, like we were down on the scoreboard, but they were not beating us. Well, Vancouver is definitely beating Montreal, and Montreal was down on the scoreboard at some parts of the game. So for my money, it's probably Montreal's worst game of the season last night. Like there were some nice parts, especially in the second period and part of the third period. But overall, I think Vancouver had a slight edge in play if you look at the whole game. So really good timing for the power play to finally kind of click and win a game for Montreal. Dobesh, again, very, very solid, making some key saves, just looking very, very stable in there. You can see the team has a lot of confidence in him. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about the new first unit power play, Demidov. Pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, some tough moments here, Coach. I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout the show here, but you just want Montreal not to start kind of picking up bad habits here. Sometimes you can get fooled by your results and forget about the process a little bit. So I'm going to be very curious to see kind of what happens in the next game, to see if Montreal can kind of get back on track, playing how they've been playing throughout the year, which is, again, less time in their zone, getting pucks out quicker, all that stuff. So to me, a little bit fortunate to come out of that with a win. Vancouver pressed really hard. Like it was like 4 minutes, the last 4 or 5 minutes, like they were completely hemmed in their zone. So listen, lots of positive things to talk about. But if you're being honest, last night was not Montreal's best game. But good teams find ways to win, and that's what they did.
I said, Mr. Enortap.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Marco. Like it's almost, if you think about it, it's almost the opposite of the night before when they played Edmonton. I thought that they really took the game to Edmonton for the most part of the game. Like it wasn't an entire 60-minute performance on their behalf, but the way it ended, with the controversy and the fact that there was some indiscipline penalties given out there to Anderson, and the no call there on Slafkovsky. I mean, when we talk about the process of being a young team and learning how to win, like we talk a lot of times about the team and how it's supposed to evolve, and we always say it's not going to be linear. Well, the same thing applies to the learning process. It's never going to be linear. The good thing that I liked seeing was the fact that they responded, even though it wasn't a good game. They responded with a victory, and they had some key moments in the Vancouver game that really helped them. Because you're going to get this in the learning process. You're going to get setbacks. You're going to get obviously growing pains along the way, moments of frustration, like in the Vancouver or in the Edmonton game. But what's becoming really clear here is that you now have a group of young kids that are working well together, and they're starting to turn like their lessons into results, and that's the key thing you want to see. If you do a little bit of contrast with where right now San Jose is, I mean, you can make an argument that they have some, very good, if possibly not more, and I hate to use the word elite kind of players than Montreal does right now, that will evolve to that stage, but they're not winning, and that's frustrating, and that's something that they have to overcome. But I like the fact that they're poised. One thing I noticed really, and it's thrown off the defensive core quite a bit, is the absence of Kane Gooley, right? It really throws things a little bit out of whack. It means that certain players now, certain defenders have to play more ice time, Matheson included in that list. And sometimes it makes you a little bit more ineffective when you're not as fresh, especially when you get to close to the end of a game. But yeah, overall, it's something to be pleased about, that they are where they're at right now at the top of the Atlantic Division. Hopefully, they're able to remain there the rest of the way.
Good point by Gary too. Just good point by Gary talking about how this was a pretty condensed time, right? Like I forget the amount of games, but I forget the string, but they played a lot of games in a short amount of days. So really good point there. Yeah, 4 and 6 or something like that. So really, really demanding on the road. So maybe just a little bit out of gas towards the end of the road trip here. So that's why I'll be really curious to see kind of how they regroup in Seattle. Sorry to interrupt, Coach. Go ahead.
Now, well said, both of you, for the resume of the game between the Montreal and Vancouver Canucks. Of course, we have a couple of great things happening, and of course, you had certain things did not happening for the Montreal, but look, that's what it is, NHL, right? Sometimes you play hard, and then you deserve to win, and then you lose. And then last night, they did not play well until the second period after, and then they finished strong. But like Marco said, yeah, a good team find a way to win those games. It did happen for the Montreal Canadiens after a very difficult last Thursday. So for me, when I resume the game, I'm looking about other things, not only the goal, everything, but the character, Marco and Enortap of the team. They could give up after Thursday. They'd be frustrated for a couple of days, and they'd be upset, and but the culture of Martin St. Louis to reset quickly. This is what you need to do in hockey as a professional, is to reset quickly. This is a new game, and we have to go one game at a time. We don't looking for the record or standing. We just have to play a game. But it's early this season, Marco and Enortap. Look, it's everyone. Like, this is what the 4 game in 6 nights, 7 nights, right?
4 and 6.
So whatever you are in great shape, whatever, it's demanding, and they took everything from them to come back, and the problem was not about the legs or everything like that. I think for me, the first half of the game, Marco, it's about execution. Like when you teach or you talk with the players or the system. We want always said, an expression, okay, tape to tape. Why we said tape to tape? Because that's push the next move after that. It could be another pass, or it could be moving the puck, transition, rush, whatever you want to call it. And Montreal, first period, it was behind the players, missing the players. The puck was gave back to Vancouver. But we have to give credit, Marco and Enortap. Adam Foote, he really prepared his player to play against Montreal Canadiens the first 30 minutes of the game. He was first on the puck, They were speed over match to Montreal. They were winning battle, but Montreal find a way to get one specific goal on the power play, and then after that they unanswered with 4 goals, and that showed the character. That's what I'm really proud of the team right there, for how they bounce back. It's another game where they. This one was very different because usually they take the lead and then they slip and then they sleep and then they come back to find. But look, this is a good learning again for them, and they have a lot of character inside of that team now. It's not. It's early in the season, but it's fun to see them. It's more. I don't remember how excited it is to watch Montreal now. I don't know if you feel the same way like me and after, but how
Oh
excited
yeah,
like every game I show up here at the channel, I feel like we can win. Like it's going to be another win. Like we find a way. This is my feeling every time I come here. That's a great feeling to have, I believe, as a Montreal Canadiens fans. And you know what? It's just the beginning.
that's right. That's right. They still have some promising prospects coming down the pipeline. We still don't know what's going to happen in terms of perhaps UFAs that will come along the way next year, trades that may occur along the way. Obviously, they're going to improve the team and fill in some of the gaps that are right now presenting themselves as problems, and the reason why they get into these mental breakdowns sometimes. But I'm really liking the fact that they're working well together as a group. Nobody gets on anybody's back. Like we're seeing it even in baseball. Like you could argue that there's a huge discrepancy between the Dodgers players and the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays have that intangible of gelling together, and it's not one particular player. It's a group of players that make it work. And same thing we're seeing in Montreal, and it's all about the culture, and that's one of the things that they had at the top of their list in terms of establishing in Montreal.
Great point about that. And I thought, Marco, I will turn the question for you. You have a good question, a good comment from Kenneth. He said Dobson make it friends for his first pass, and he's outstanding the way he play. After you saw last night and where we at, we're going to go deeper a little bit later. But you have a specific reason why you're impressive by a specific player right now. This year we have Demidov, we have Dobson, we have Bodzik, Tobesh, honestly. But you have something, you make Montreal where they at today. He said, you know what, this is because I feel like this is happening right now with Montreal.
Yeah, well, I think I can answer kind of all the questions all together, put it all together with kind of what you were saying, Coach, about being exciting to watch. Montreal is they're the team, right? Like they're must-watch TV. You hear people all across the NHL talking about how Montreal is the team to watch right now. If you're scrolling around, you're probably going to end up on that game just because they're the most exciting team to watch. And Montreal's first in goals for in the NHL right now. And I think the top reason for that is the mobility on the blue line. Like I was talking about before, and Coach, you're bang on about the execution. And that's what I was saying, in my intro, that, the biggest key to their success has been their transition and breaking the puck out quickly and not being stuck in their zone. And that's where they were hurting a little bit yesterday, just not enough execution. So to me, the biggest change, to tie it back to Dobson, is, and I think all of us here were, I think I had Gouli with Dobson. That's what I thought it was going to be. And I question a little bit Martin Saint-Louis' vision of having Matheson and Dobson together. But I understand the vision now. I totally get it. I'd be the first to admit that I was wrong on that one. To me, the biggest impact is kind of how Matheson has transformed because of Dobson and kind of how they play together. The range that they can cover with their skating and their length, their ability to break the puck out, defending, all over the ice with their skating, breaking the puck out faster so that they're not spending time in their zone. So to me, that's the biggest impact. Montreal right now leads the NHL in goals by defensemen. To me, I know we're excited about a lot of the things that are happening up front, and with good reason. Because there's a lot of Caulfield's having a great start. We're excited about Demidov. Suzuki has a 9 going. Like Slaf is actually having a pretty good start as well. Maybe not in total points, but playing really well. So all that's true, but it all starts with the back end. And I haven't even mentioned Lane Hudson, right? So Lane Hudson, then you add, Dobson with Matheson. To me, that's a total game changer. It's changed my approach on whether they, we've had many discussions here about what do you do about Matheson. He's making such a strong case, for re-signing with Montreal just based on the amazing partnership that he has with Dobson. So to answer his question, to me, that's probably the biggest impact in terms of changes. Noah Dobson comes in, you form this really, really dynamic, trustworthy pair, and it's completely transformed everything I think about the Montreal Canadiens right now.
And when you have a defensive core that contributes that many points to your offense, it takes a lot of pressure off of your forwards, right? And and again, this is without Gooley, who's now missed 5 games, I think, altogether. It's definitely looking good. Go ahead, Coach. You wanted to say something as well?
Someone put Gila point, but that remind me, honestly, the one that Montreal is dominate around the 7 days, right? Gila Flower, but I think we forget like those three defensemen together, Robinson, Lapointe, Savard, make a very impact on both sides of the game. And I think that's happening also with Hudson, Madison, and Dobson. And hockey today's where we is in the NHL, it's about skating. If you skate well, you skate above like anybody else. You don't have to be the fastest player, but sometimes they make mistake, Dobson or Madison, but their skate is so good, they come back and they fix the mistake, honestly. And I didn't mention the name goalie right now, so Montreal could just set up right there. We see PLW said in the chat, and I think this will be important to sign Mike Madison, and would be how much he would get. I believe he could go down $7 million for me from Mike Madison. I think
that's what they're asking. His agent, 6 to 7.
Yeah, but David Packnot, is it Packnota?
Packnota.
Yeah. He said 6.5 for 3 years.
That would be good. Right.
That would be a tremendous deal if they can get that done. Wow.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we'll be good about that. Let's move on. We have to talk about. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be good. I want to talk about 2 players right there. And Marco, you're going to start. You're going to pick one player, and after you're going to pick the another players. About Sunday, the performance last night, for what they accomplished on the ice, and then go from there. Marco.
Well, it's Enortap's show, so I'll let him go with the exciting player. So I'll start with Slaf. Listen, like we know how important it was for him and for the management team that he have a much, much better start to the year, right? Like for anybody that watched the rebuild show, you saw the exit interview that they did with Slaf, and I think it's no secret that they really wanted to see him show up ready to play. And listen, I think maybe for the first couple games, there's some question marks there, but for at least say the last 3 to 5 games, you can really, really see the overall game really kind of coming together here, Coach. Like we know that him, I know, Coach, you probably want to see more hits from him. I know you pay attention to hits a lot. I don't really care about hit totals too much. For me, it's winning puck battles and like puck retrievals. Like getting hits is important, but to me, there's a difference between being physical and winning puck battles and just hits. Now, there's going to be a bit of an overlap there, right? But to me, you're seeing a really well-rounded game from Slafkovsky. I still would love to see him get the puck away a little faster, like his release. Just still a little bit of hesitation there. I wish that they would just teach him. I think, Mike Bossy used to say, like, he would just close his eyes and shoot, like as fast as he could. Honestly, he's not picking corners, right? It's just really about how quickly you can get your shot away. Just look at the goal that he scored yesterday. It came to him and boom, he just kind of like shot it right away, didn't aim, and it found a way in, right? So to me, it's a little bit unusual. Like I'm really happy with how he's playing. But to me, I always thought that Slafkovsky would be more of a, he would finish with more assists than he would with goals. So this year it's a little, and that's kind of what it's been in his career so far. But this year he was almost like on a Cy Young Award kind of pace, right? He had 0 assists, finally got his first assist last night. So listen, I think the production will come with Slafkovsky, but what a great, kind of chemistry that, and we've talked about it many times before, but even if Slafkovsky doesn't turn out to be the best player at number 1 overall, even if they would have drafted Logan Cooley or whatever, it's hard to think of somebody that would complete Suzuki and Caulfield better than Slafkovsky. He's like the perfect player to play with those guys. So to me, there's a lot of value in being an elite complementary player. And I think he's been very good. I really like kind of what I'm seeing from him on both sides of the puck. Like he's been back checking. I'm going to pose this question to you guys. I know it doesn't happen often where wingers win a Selke trophy, but to me, Slafkovsky is somebody maybe one day that could win a Selke trophy because of how in depth and how kind of good he is at kind of on both sides of the puck when he really puts his mind to it and he's able to win puck battles and everything else. Like that's what I kind of would give him as a mission, right? Like be a guy that scores like 60, 70 points, but is like amazing defensively and wins puck battles. So really, really good start by Slaf. I really like what I'm seeing.
Enortap. Yeah, no choice.
Couldn't agree with you. Yeah. You leave me only the best player. Demidov. Like, first of all, Marco, I agree with you 100%. I'm glad that we're starting to see him coming into his own right now, Slafkovsky, and I think that we're not near the ceiling yet with what he can offer, and we'll definitely see it more and more as he progresses. With Demidov, I mean, we obviously knew what we were getting with Demidov. There's been a lot of concern in terms of, why isn't he playing on the first power play unit and why is he only drawing, 12, 13 minutes on some nights. I think that's all part and parcel with what Marty St. Louis does as his role in terms of inculcating them into the system, and doesn't want to put the pressure on them immediately, right? We saw it last year with Hudson. It took a while before he eventually put him ahead of Matheson on the first power play unit. And last night we saw the same thing with finally Demidov moving up in the first power play unit, and he didn't disappoint. And when you put him and you put Hudson, who have probably the best vision on this team, on the power play unit, then they can create things out of nothing. That's the beauty of it. And their skating ability allows them to continuously keep the defense guessing in terms of where that puck's going to go. And that to me has been the biggest difference, is that with their creativity and their vision, they're opening up space for other players to score. And we've remarked about guys like Kapanen, and Newhook off to a great start. Make no mistake about it. I think playing with Demidov is the biggest factor. He carries them with him, and not to take anything away from what Newhook and Kapanen have established, but I just don't think it's a coincidence that Demidov is the one that's driving that bus there, and he makes people around him that much better. He's now, don't look now, but he's now with 9 points in 10 games. He's the third leading scorer on Montreal. And I think yesterday we kind of saw the emergence, I would say, of Demidov. I thought that he played consistently well throughout the game. And I think he's, with that confidence, he's going to take it to the next level, and we're going to have some exciting evenings.
For sure.
Go ahead, Marco. You want something to add, or?
Yeah, just a couple quick things. So I think for the first time, Martin St. Louis kind of revealed his approach yesterday as to why Demidov wasn't on the first unit power play. He's even last year, I don't think he really came out and said it that openly, but he basically said it yesterday in the press conference, saying that he wanted Demidov to prove to him that he wanted him to value the true opportunity of being on the first unit power play, and that to really understand how valuable it is, and that he needs to earn that by playing a true 200-foot game. And so obviously, according to St. Louis, he felt that he gave that to him, and it's hard to disagree, right? There's not too many times that you can look to say that Demidov kind of hasn't given his 100% playing on both sides of the puck, and he hasn't made that many mistakes 5-on-5. The one pattern that I noticed, guys, and not a lot of people talk about this, is last year when Hudson, if you remember, the real reason why Hudson finally got on the first unit power play, don't forget Matheson got injured for about 4 games last year, and that's when Hudson got his opportunity. It's not like suddenly St. Louis said, okay, this game you're gonna play on the first unit power play instead of Matheson. No, as Matheson was hurt, so Hudson took a spot and then never gave it away. So there was a similar opportunity this year in the sense that Patrick Laine is no longer there. So that gave St. Louis an excuse to move things around and then move things around the units a little bit. So it's a combination of getting Demidov to earn that, but then also waiting for the right opportunity to make that move. And I think collectively as a fan base, we're all, I think it was last game against Calgary, there was only one power play and he was on there. So and it was kind of a surprise, like we're like, oh my God, he's on the first unit power play. And then we couldn't be, before you realized that it was over, and then they didn't have another one. So we were a little kind of like, oh, it was a little bit like blue balls, right? Like, oh man, I wish they'd get another power play so we could see him again. So it was nice that we got to see him a little bit more out there. But I agree with everything else, Enortap. Like, to me, it's going to be good for him to get more touches on that first unit power play. Being on that unit is going to give him a legitimate chance to battle Schaefer for the Calder. Because I don't think if he wasn't going to play first unit power play, there's not a chance that he would get enough opportunity to collect enough points to really compete for it. So, really exciting time, guys. Like, and let me say one last thing. I know Demidov, it wasn't his first goal in the NHL last night, but it was the first time that he shot the puck into the net. Every other goal that he scored was on a deke. So it's the first time that he actually shot a puck into the net, beating a goalie. I was just waiting to see that, right? Because it's an important part, right? Like being able to actually shoot it past a goalie, and we hadn't seen that yet. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, and that's part of the confidence that we spoke to earlier, because initially in the first it's 6-7 games, it looked like he was always looking to set somebody up, right? And he's got great skills at doing that. But I agree with you. If he were to shoot as well a little bit more often, I think you'd start seeing those.
And all his goals in the NHL came from deking, not from actually shooting and beating a goalie. So to actually see him shoot the puck into the net past the goalie, it was just good to see that he could do it. Even though it did deflect off the defenseman, but it was still a beauty one-timer. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great comment. Sir. If you have to find one thing you are the most impressive about Demidov, like one thing, what it would be in Enortap?
I think it's his vision of the ice and how to find the open man. And you see it not just in on the power play, but you see it a 5-on-5. You see it when he has an opportunity. It looks like he has no ice available, but he creates. So it's that vision for me.
Marco?
To me, here are my takeaways for him. The thing that's most surprising to me is how good he is at. He's going to get better, but he's good at battling along the walls. He's similar to Lane Hudson. Like you can see they talk to each other a lot. You know how when they go into the boards, instead of like they take contact proactively instead of like waiting for the guy to hit them, they go in and into the puck battle and kind of like go around the player instead of like letting the player hit them. So I think he's very clever at board battles, more so than I thought he was going to be. The one thing that I find is his best skill, but at the same time makes me the most nervous, is how deceptive he is and his wide base of skating. It still makes me very nervous though that one day somebody's gonna, because he's like, his base is like this, right? Like it's very almost like a triangle, and you can see that it's very effective for him to pivot and everything and be strong in his skates. But man, it makes me so nervous because he seems so vulnerable going into the middle of the ice. So I just uh, I understand that it's a very good skill, but man, it makes me nervous seeing him play like that sometimes. But the edge, yeah, like Billy said, it's the edge work, right? And the base of his, like the way that he has his base is almost like a triangle. So he just needs to be careful though, because it just takes one guy to fall on your leg when you're in that position. So it makes me nervous, but it is very effective how he does
So
it.
great comments in the chat. I love, talk about the vision, edge work, open space, play like Hudson. Look, this is really me. I'm really. He did a few times last year, but not like he did a lot in KHL. But and for me is edge work. The only one I see close to him is really Sidney Crosby. I know he's a come on coach, but the way he uses his edge work to get out of the opening player, Marco, he will turn around and he will beat the defenseman on the cutback or on the half moon, and that's follow with the vision and the hands, the second gling, everything like that. But for me, edge work, it's the one I'm more impressive because I knew it was good, but not as good he is, honestly. And he played like now like a guy like 28 years old in NHL. So look, we have a lot of great things to do, and we see to talk about this for sure. Great comments for everybody, and we're going to talk about other things. We have a lot of things to talk about in the chat. Thanks again to be with us. Don't forget, please, to click on the likes. We appreciate a lot. 2-1 Kings is still $2 Dallas Predator. The Rangers losing 2-1 against the Flames. And we have 4 other games complete with the Tampa Bay Lightning win. The New Jersey Devils win today. And the San Jose win 6-5. That's a crazy week of the San Jose, like 7-6 or something like that, 6-5. Michael Misa scored his first goal in NHL today. Great to see that. Cédric Brunet have another 2 points. I love still 8 assists. The Mammoth are beat
Look
the
out.
Jets again 3-2 today. The Mammoth are at the top of the Central Division. Pretty amazing to say that. Coach thought us we would be great. The coach was right. Is so quick to shunt, angle, control the puck. Really hard to defend. You're right about this, A2. I agree with you. So let's move on with other things we want to talk about, if you don't mind. We're going to do another review of the Montreal Canadiens last week and NHL. And we're going to see what we got the panel here, honestly. Before we move on, last night stood out obscure and at the office. Marco, let's do it with a game of the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, well, I'm rusty at doing these. We used to do these last season. I'm a little rusty. Okay, so obscure. Let's see. Whew. Oh, that's a tough one. Like, that's a very, very tough one. I guess I'm gonna say Alex Newhook. Alex Newhook, like still buzzing around. Couple. Did I take yours, Enortap? Okay.
Yeah.
Alex
Yeah,
Newhook.
it's a good one. It's not a bad one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. It is.
So yeah, I think still kind of doing his thing, still on the power play. I think he had like 1 assist. Really being a good support on that line with Kapanen and with Demidov. So I'm still trying to learn how to pronounce Kapanen and Demidov properly, getting the pronunciation right. But yeah, so I'd say obscure. I'll go Newhook. Standout. I'll also go with Demidov. And I think we'll all agree that probably to the office is going to have to be Arbor for last night with 2 tough penalties, no minutes in the third period. And overall just not really looking super confident out there. Not really playing his game. I think so. That's kind of who I would isolate.
Good work, Enortap. Something else?
Yeah, I'll go with standout. I mean, I have Demidov as well, but you know what? I'll go with Dobesh. I think that this is one area that Montreal has to at some point correct. You don't want necessarily one goalie that's doing very well and the other one is struggling. And I have confidence at some point Montebo will bounce back, but it might take a while and some opportunity to build up his confidence again. But in the meantime, Dobesh has gone 5-0-0 in his 5 starts, and like when you look at his numbers, he's been absolutely lights out. And even when they fall behind, like they did yesterday, he keeps them in the game. He lets out few rebounds, which is great, and he uses his stick very well. Comes out to cut the angle very well, as and indeed, and I'll give it to him. Obscure, I like both Newhook and Kapanen as well, but I think I'll go with Slafkovsky, even though he's been consistent all year long. I thought yesterday he put in yet another solid game. He was winning a lot of the battles in the corner. He was at the right place at the right time in a number of cases, especially on the power play, and he did score. And to the office, yeah, I mean, I can't I can't argue against Jack Eye, but for the purposes of yesterday's game, and I know I'm not going to get a lot of support here for this, but I'll say I didn't really like Carrier's game yesterday. I thought that whether it was fatigue or the fact that he was thrown between, having to play between different partners, I thought he had a bit of an off game in terms of being at the wrong place and not covering, especially on two of the goals that the Canucks scored. So I'll just send him as a quick reminder because I like him a lot, and I think he's integral to Montreal's defensive core. But I thought yesterday wasn't his usual game.
Yeah, I agree with all of you about that. I think the biggest concern of the Jacky is not himself anymore. It's Trouble. Trouble play better, and right now, uh, the fan is there. You can see the confidence the Montreal have more on Trouble versus Aber, like the double TOI on the last 4 games. Only one game they was pretty much close yesterday. You can see that. This is what Albert have to learn, not only for the Montreal Canadiens, but himself if you want to stay in NHL. Um, it's sad to say that, but that's him right now to work on himself. To a little bit like, in my opinion, like Montebo. Montebo have to work on himself to regain what he was before. Albert have to do the same thing, and does not help when he take bad penalty on his case. Suzuki take a penalty, it's not end of the world, but Albert is going to be always check out if he take one bad penalty for him. But it's early in the season, so we have to wait what happening about that and go from there. We have a couple of new people in that chat. Thanks so much, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be good. We appreciate a lot. This week...
Before we move on, Coach, just honorable mention to Kirby Dach. It's funny because we were talking about him before we went on air, and I should have chose, I think Kirby Dach, that's who my obscure hero would be. Now that I really think of it, I think he had a really solid game. I think Newhook's a good one, but really, really good honorable mention for Kirby Dach too.
Yeah, he had a really bad game Thursday. I believe his first game was back. He was back Thursday, right? And yesterday he responded. So we have to get there about that one over there. But for me, I like Capan. You're right about this A2. Pierre Carrier make mistake and get them back with 2 great assists, sending him and the office and make 0 sense. Not for office, but yeah, I'll be honest with you. There was really his worst game, Carrier, for a long time with the Montreal Canadiens on the defensive side of the game. Like he got beat a lot. He was struggling with that. But hopefully, I'm not worried about him anyway. He's going to come back. He was bounce back. They need him back. This week, guys, the record is 3-1-0 3.0, 6 points. Hit all the number here. Why? Because that give you an idea what happening. Montreal has 15 goals, 3.75 per goal this week, per game. 3.00, they're still at the same number. The goal differential +3. That's a good positive for the Montreal Canadiens. Power play 37.5 this week. Look like, come on, coach. Yeah, but they scored 3 goals in the last 2 games. 79.5, not big, but it's better what it was the weeks before that. Both numbers are better. It was 60 something the weeks before. For face-off, 53.5. Again, not too bad. Overall on the season, Enortap and Marco, 36 goals. Number 1 in the NHL with the most goals at 3.60. With 30 goals, again, 24 in NHL, +6 goal differential. We're getting there. The power play right now, we're jumping at 23.2. We're at 12. The PK, 75. They are 18 in NHL. Face-off, guys, I mean, really, this all the number, guys, the face-off is really 17. That's pretty good for the. We saw we don't have no center, everything like that. And the Flame take the lead 3-1. Year ago, Slafkovsky scored a first goal, a first point of the year for Connor Zary. After 9 games, pretty amazing to see that. Same thing for Slafkovsky. But my point here is about the number for the Montreal Canadiens during the season. But I want to give us a bit what you said during the week, really quickly. Then we came up again. A little bit the stood out. The night tonight is the stood out and the obscure and at the office. So give me what you think about. I think I start with Marco. I don't remember who want to start first. Marco, let's go.
Go with Enortap.
Okay, for me, what stands out most here is the face-off percentage, right? Like it's something that they've been trying to emphasize, and it's all about puck possession. And so if you're winning. Well, right now it's 50.4, but this week we saw it jump up to 53.5. It helped to have Veleno in there as well. I think yesterday he was like at 73 or 74% of his face-offs, and I think Suzuki was just as good. I think he was at 70, or it might be the other way around. I don't recall offhand, but I mean, they're not the only ones. Jake Evans has been doing much better lately as well. If you have the puck, you're dictating the play. It's as simple as that. You're not spending most of your time chasing down the players and back checking and trying to get possession. You're at that point, and now you can dictate what's going to happen. The power play and the penalty kill. I mean, I'd like to see the power play increase, and I think it will as they get more. Acquainted with each other and sort of stabilized in terms of just exactly who will be on that first power play unit. The penalty kill has been, given the fact that we lost, 2 key players that were on that penalty kill last year, I think that they've done relatively well so far, and I think that that'll improve as well. So overall, it's a good trend line to see with Montreal.
Good point about that. Marco, before we saw, remind everybody, they beat the Buffalo Sabres in overtime. Then they beat the Calgary Flames. And then they lost again in Edmonton and they beat Vancouver yesterday. So I just want to remember. I cannot remember what I eat last night. So I can understand that for that. So it's just a checkout for everybody.
Yeah. Well, as you guys know, so on our show on the Habs Hump Day that we do on Wednesday, the whole, we track kind of certain statistics, certain KPIs, right? And a lot of these are the ones that we're going to be looking at. We didn't do the show last week because they were playing. So just looking at this real quick, Coach, in terms of how we're trending with some of the things that we want. We estimated at the beginning of the year that in order for Montreal to be in the mix, they needed to be somewhere around 3.2 goals per game. So they're blowing that out of the water. Like they're number 1 in the NHL in terms of goals for. So that's insane. That's just even beyond kind of what they would need to do to stay competitive. In terms of a goals for, you wanted Montreal to be somewhere around, 2.98, just under 3 would be good. So they're right there in terms of goals against. Right now, they're top 15 for goals against in the NHL. So if you continue to be top 10 top 5 in offense and your top 15 on defense, and your goal differential is going to be where you need it to be. The only thing that's trending a little bit lower than you would want is the power play. We wanted them to be somewhere above 24%. So now that we have Demidov on the first unit, I think we're going to see an uptick there. And probably the PK, you'd like to see that go up a little bit. We wanted them to be around 81% to be in the top 15. Last year, they finished, I think, 9th in the NHL in PK, or 11th, or somewhere around there. So we thought that they might dip a little bit, but we don't want them dipping all the way to 18th in the NHL. That's a little bit lower than you would want. But overall, they're at a +6 with their goal differential. So to me, so far, very consistent this week here. And one thing that I'll say, Coach, is a lot of people are looking at the teams, the difficulty of schedule that Montreal had. Even though a lot of the teams that they played this week, and even since the beginning of the season, there's not a lot of teams that were maybe in the playoffs last year, but there are some teams that were, like Seattle's playing some good hockey. Calgary was very hungry because they hadn't won a game yet. Buffalo, they were very hungry and they played really hard. So they might have played some teams. The Rangers, they're also a very desperate team, right? So it might be a bit misleading. Like, I think overall the level of competition that Montreal has faced so far is probably a little bit better than what most people give them credit for. But, it will be interesting to see when they start playing a team like Colorado or New Jersey or a team like that. I think it will be interesting, more of a measuring stick kind of game. But I don't think you can look at it and say, like, these were 4 easy games like this. And they played, like we talked about, the condensed schedule, traveling, all that. So, guys, if you would have said at the beginning of the year, would you be happy if Montreal is 7-3 in the first 10 games? I think we all would have taken that. Like, we talked about how critical it was for Montreal to have a strong start. I think you can say without a doubt it's mission accomplished in terms of Martin Saint-Louis' training camp and the start that they've had.
Taking out their schedule is the easy one in October. They are 28 in the NHL this year, the month October, compared to other teams. Only this lady play, they have full game on this week, but compared, like, they're traveling, everything like that, there was a little bit more. I would just said every game it's important in NHL. You have to win those games in October, not only in April, honestly. But you have a parity in NHL. So every game you play, you never know. It's happened all the time, honestly. So we have to give that for sure. Audio Murphy, welcome back. Thanks to be with us. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. So I appreciate a lot.
We have a question or a comment here from, I just really want to address it because I think it's interesting. Somebody said, hey, really exciting start to the season, but are we a playoff team? I'm trying to find who wrote that.
Maurice Robillard.
Yeah, Maurice. So can I just say, like, listen, like, it's a good question, but can we just enjoy for a minute that we're making the playoffs? So, like, I get it. Like, it's still roster construction time, like they're still in the process of building the roster. It's not fait accompli yet that they're going to be a playoff team either, right? Like, so I get it, that we should be thinking about stuff like that, but I think we can take a minute just to enjoy a 7-3 start and the fact that they could be making the playoffs. Like, last year was a bit of a surprise making the playoffs. So I get it. Like, we want to start talking about building the roster that's going to really compete in the playoffs, but let's not jump ahead too much either, right? Like, we're, let's enjoy the moment. The fact that
ultimately you want to see the progress and development of the players. It could turn out to be that they'll get even more points than last year and still not make the playoffs. That shouldn't be considered a failure, right? If the components that are making your team up moving forward in the future are developing the way you want to.
I apologize. It was Billy, the question.
Billy, yeah, that's it.
And
Billy,
Maurice was talking, because he started with the stats. And the stat Maurice was talking about, whatever it was the stat, the full story is about they don't have a lot of puck possession or something like that. So I just want to clarify that one there. We'll go to skip the Standouts. If you have that, we have a lot of things to talk. And honestly, We have a new one. Jose A. Nunez is in the house. Welcome as a new subscriber.
Welcome.
He's from Mexico and after.
Nice.
Awesome.
You know, it's happening. But we'll see. $3-2, 2-1 the Kings, 3-1 Flames against the Rangers. Right now, the Oilers play Canucks tonight at 10 o'clock. Look like Quinn Hughes not going to play tonight. Is day-to-day for the Vancouver Canucks. Need to reconfirm, but that's what I got as an notification a bit early. And we'll see what's happening about that. We talk about tonight, guys, the subject of the night. I want to talk about a great second line for the Montreal Canadiens. Newhook, Kapanen, and Demidov. I make some news. I make some information for all of you here tonight. And I'm going to compare the number, everything on that. And then you can give me a little bit more what you think about that line. And then we're going to move on after that, the overview of the Montreal Canadiens after 10 games. Second line, ladies and gentlemen. Kapanen, 437 point. Demidov, 279. Newhook, 347 for a total on 9 goals, 14 assists, and of course 23 points for Dan. Now, I want to give you one more stat, and then we're going to talk about the line for everybody in the chat. I go for analytics. The goal for percentage, 58.33. They are +2 goal against a goal for. The goal for are 49.18. The high dangers are Corsi is 53.85. The face-off, I put the face-off there because we know how Newhook is not good, and then we put Kapanen there. 47.17. Kapanen did not check personally his stats, but that's pretty good for me for a rookie in NHL at that kind of number. And Newhook is better. Thank you, Patrice Bergeron. Maybe we have to thank him for that one. The only statistic was not good is on the scoring chance for the line complete for that part. But overall, so when I said that is about the puck position, Marco, or they get more often sometimes on the defensive side versus offensive side. That's pretty much the only negative on that line. But for me, this is impressive. I would like to hear from both of you what you think about that line. I can know why you consider the second line. That's what I believe they are right now with the 9. And you think about this guy, they are only 4 points behind the first line on the term of the offensive side for that. The number of the first line guys on the chart on analytics blew my mind. I will have to compare for other line in NHL, but 37 for C is crazy. The number the analytics for the first line. But what do you think, Marco or Enortap? Let's just pick it up, one of you two guys. What do you think about that performance so far on that line?
So I think this is interesting, Coach. So again, and we were joking about this before the show, but I really don't like numbering the lines, especially this year. Like right now, I think they are kind of playing like the second line, but I think this could change. You know, like we saw Doc and Budzuk have a strong game. Like it could go. We could have a 10 game period where they are more productive instead of this line, right? Like I think that's the beauty of Montreal's team is that after Suzuki's line, I think we're going to see, you know, ebbs and flow throughout the season where certain lines are performing better than others. So, but right now, I'll say that they're the second most productive or dominant line out there for sure. So what I like about this, and I think you nailed it, you know, after I think 3 or 4 games, they were the worst line in the NHL in terms of goals expected per 60. That I think was the one statistic that everybody was talking about. And you can see the line is getting better and better and better the more that they're going. And it's all about speed with these guys. Like, you know, but it goes also with what we were talking about before about how strong Montreal has been about breaking out of their zone quick, right? So I think you have to give a lot of credit to the back end when they're playing with Matheson and Dobson. As a transition, this line is amazing. It's one of the best lines that Montreal has for transition. but it's a little trickier when they get stuck in their own zone. They can kind of run around a little bit when they get stuck in their own zone. The good thing is that they don't get stuck there a lot. So overall, this has great dynamics. I think a lot of people, including myself, are still curious to see what Bolduc would look like on this line. It's hard to bump Newhook off this line right now just because it is working pretty well. But I think that's the one combination that most people were really, really wanting to see was Bolduc and Demidov, and we've yet to see it at all, not once. I don't think we've seen it at all since preseason or anything. Seeing Bolduc with Demidov, and I think a lot of us are still curious to see what that would look like. But to me, this line has a lot of good components to it. I'd like to see maybe a little bit of size because they're all smallish. Like Demidov is almost 6'1", but he's not huge, right? So I think overall in the long run, this line is working right now, but I still think it needs some tinkering. I do like the combination of Kapanen with Demidov together. I think there's something there. There's something with that combination that works really well. I'd still like to see Kapanen be a little bit more consistent because there's like periods of maybe 2-3 games where you see him a little less, and then you'll have a really strong game. So I think Kapanen is looking for a little bit more consistency, but still very young. And you can't argue with the fact that he's had a very strong overall start to the season. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right now, it's working. I'm not sure I buy into that this line is a forever line. I still think that there's some moves that are going to be made. I would be pretty surprised if this line is the same towards the end of the season. But I don't know. It could. We'll see.
That's good. I'm watching Chicago, Los Angeles right now. Yeah, no goaltender. The goaltender, Marco, he was going to the bench, and then the Kings got the puck after he was decided to come back. But anyway, we are empty net. There you go, Enortap. Sorry about that.
No, I was going to agree with that. I think Kapanen is so far, he's doing very well. It surprised me. I didn't think he could possibly be on the second line in terms of a 2C, maybe as a winger, but as a 2C, and he's proven me wrong, and that's great. I think it's not the permanent solution, if you want to call it the second line. But if you look at the advanced stats, right, like here you have just in points alone, they're at 23 points. The first line is leading the NHL in terms of expanded analytics, and together all three of them have 28 points. So from a productivity point of view, they're doing their job. I think what makes these guys very successful is the speed and transition game, right? They're able to defensively cover when they lose the puck. They can back check. Their speed allows them to create opportunities to score off of it. Now, they haven't been as productive as you can see at the bottom of the page there, the screen. But that'll come with time as they get more acclimated to each other. But I like the chemistry between Kapanen and Demidov. And I would agree with you, Marco. I would love to see Bolduc up there as well. The good thing about having Newhook is the ability, hopefully, to play both wing and center if needed, and to take some key faceoffs. But I think his faceoff percentage overall is still around 40. I want to say 45 or 47% for Newhook, which is much better than last year, but still not at the level that it should be. Kapanen's a little bit better, but he's still under 50% himself. So there's some work to be done there.
You want to add something, Marco?
I don't think so. I saw a good question about us wanting to talk a little bit about Veleno. What are your thoughts on Veleno so far? Enortap, like, I don't know. I guess we're going to talk about it. We're going line by line later, I guess, right, Coach? So we can talk about it then. But in terms of the second line,
we're going to go back after that to the
okay.
About that.
Talk about Veleno in a little bit. Whoever asked about that, but second line, like I said, like I still think that it needs something. I'm not sure that this is the long-term line that we're going to see, but I do like Kapanen and Demidov together. I think that's a thing, but we'll see.
I think eventually when we do get that 2C, whenever that might be, and
Yeah,
Kapanen maybe falls down to a 3C, could you imagine how much more effective he'll be and the team
yeah,
together?
yeah. If you like, to me, the way that I see it is eventually you get a second line center that shoots left, and then you have Demidov on one side, and then you have Doc on the other side as a winger. To me,
Hmm.
that would be like, imagine your top six is, for like, say, maybe later this year or next year, you have like Demidov with Crosby and Doc or something like that. Something like that on your second line. That would be pretty crazy.
Awesome. Who play the next game? Born to be Habs. It's a Tuesday night against the Saddle Kraken at 10:30 p.m. So the people asking me, yeah, we'll be live. We're going to do a special show um, about the Montreal Canadiens before the game starts. So stay tuned about that. To finish this, I think this is the line. I think they build and they're looking great since the beginning of the season. I would disagree with you, Marco. I don't see Bolduc with them. I see really New York does a good job because of the speed, complementary of what they need with Kapanen and Demidov. But I agree with you about Demidov and Kapanen. They have great chemistry. But the greatest hockey player in hockey make other teammate looking good on the ice. And this is because of Demidov. The 23 point, you see that. Listen, Demidov is responsible for a lot of point right there because
But
the way
coach,
he played
let
game.
me push back. Let me push back on that. If Demidov is truly going to be who he's going to be, don't you want somebody that's a bit of a stronger finisher other than Kapanen and Newhook on that line? Like, those are not really grade A finishers, right?
But
Like
right now they
you
don't
need a,
have anybody to come to play with Demidov.
well, that's what I'm saying. Bolduc is a finisher. That's why I
No,
think a lot
yeah,
of
but
people are.
he's not going to have the same speed on your hook. So the key behind that, they're going to be three slow
Ah,
players. Kapanen
What?
is not an average skater. Demidov
no,
is
no.
not like the
Oh,
fastest
I
player on the
disagree.
ice.
I
And
disagree.
Bolduc
Nihuk,
is
he go there. The reason, always, if you look about the game, who is the first one to recover the puck? It's Nihuk. Completely,
Bolduc,
he pick up for
Bolduc is,
checking, and he dump the puck, and he's chasing them. But Zuk is not the same speed like Nihuk. So the
no, he's not. So
complementary
no,
for me, it will not be the same. Now,
but
finishing,
nobody has
Budzik have
the same speed.
a better shot on your hook. But the complementary,
yes.
sometimes cannot have the same quality player together.
But nobody
But you
has the
also
same speed as Newhook. Nobody has the same speed on the team than Newhook. He's the fastest player on the team, so I'll give you that. But Zook
yeah.
is not slow. He's still very
No, he's not.
fast, and he is a very good F1. He's arguably as good of an F1 as Newhook is in terms of winning puck battles, but he can shoot compared to Newhook. Like, the puck sometimes. Oh, there you go. Got the Jays hat going there. Like, is that a signal or something? Are you giving me a sign? Or
Oh,
okay?
I'm just answering Jordan there.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I don't want to disappoint
Yeah.
him.
So
Sorry.
I disagree, Coach. Like, again, like, I just think that when you have somebody that has the vision that Demidov has, you just want somebody that has a little bit more finish to really capitalize on that. And Newhook, like, we know, like, sometimes it's a little bit like it's like he has a grenade on his stick more so than a puck. I like the player. Like, I think I'd love to see him play with Anderson and Evans on the third line. I like, and then maybe you move Gallagher to a different line to add some energy eventually. That's more of the role that I see for Newhook. And if you're looking to have a deeper team, but I'm not saying like it's working for now. But if you really
And to
want
add,
to realize
yeah,
on what Demidov can do,
to add to that, Marco, I think somebody like Bolduc is the one that will dig out the puck for these two guys, right? So, yeah, like if you look at the three of them right there, Kapanen, Demidov, and Newhook. I mean, you don't have great size. I mean, I know Kapanen is about 6'1" or 6'2", but the other two are
Kapanen
not.
is 6'2", Demidov
Yeah,
is 6'1" there, and
6.
5'11" for
Yeah,
Nihuk. 5'10",
right.
5'11".
If you add somebody like a Bolduc, it helps. It's kind of like the first line, right? Where you have, what does Slafkovsky do? I mean, his biggest thing is to go and dig out the pucks and work well with the other two guys who can capitalize once they get the puck. So they get the majority of the goals. So somebody like Bolduc who can also shoot, I think it would help the line, and he doesn't hurt you speed wise. I agree that Newhook is extremely fast, but I think Bolduc more than fills the bill. The problem is, I
And maybe
think
it's
he's a little bit wasted down low in the
yeah.
being in the bottom six.
And maybe it's a game management thing, coach. Like, let's say if you're winning and you really want to protect that line, then you can move, but like you can put New Hook back up with them just to give them a bit more defensive responsibility. If it's like towards the end of a game, and then but otherwise having Bud Zook up there, like it would be fun. Like if Montreal was trailing by a goal in the third period, that might be a good time to throw Bud Zook up there to see if they can create a little bit more offense with his shot. And that's one thing that we are seeing Sandy we do a little bit more, at least on the back end, and that's an interesting point. Like it's very interesting to me that Rabida and Saint Louis are very much willing to change up the defenses pairs depending, like see what they did against Edmonton. Like they kept changing the matchups like for the defensemen. But you don't see as much of that on the with the forward lines. I'd like to see them be a little bit more like they do it towards the end of the game. Sometimes they'll make some substitutions, but I'd like to see them do that a bit more with game management, like moving some players around when it's time in the game. So I think all of us we've been waiting for Saint Louis. Like let's see Bolduc at least one game with Demidov just to see kind of what it looks like. I think we've all been dying to see that.
Well, Jeremy, welcome back. We have also Roger Delaney. Welcome. Bob Smith, knock the door. Thanks already for the. Don't forget, please to click on the like. We appreciate a lot. And we're going to move on, guys. On the trench of the 10 game for the Montreal Canadiens. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to do a bit a ranking for the players of the Montreal Canadiens. So let's. It's easy, guys. We're not going to do a fun way for that. What I want to explain to everybody, we're going to go line by line to get there. I think it'll be the easy way to do that. And let's see, go there. And because I had a great conversation, that chat between a lot of people and the chat. Here we go. Montreal Canadiens are 7-3-0 since the beginning of the season. Now, some number repeat, but it is what it is. They are first at the Atlantic, second at the Eastern Conference, and fourth. And I'm sorry?
Overall?
Yes, exactly. And then we have also Maurice wishing everyone an NHL well. Maurice, good night, buddy. I think you're leaving the building. So good night, buddy. I appreciate a lot to be with the Hockey Nation Show. Here we go. Goal 4-7 and the NHL 3.60. We talked about this early. Goal again, no problem. The power play PK, we know already. The face-off, we know about the face-off at 17. But now, the set, I add more, guys. 5-on-5, they are 23 goals this year. And they are third in NHL. This is a great improvement because I think PLW can reconfirm with me. I think they are 30, 31 or 30 at the bottom of NHL last season. The goal F are 54.76. They are plus 5. So what is work? So they score more goal again versus other team. The X changing the goal F is -2, a little bit low. And the biggest difference for them, guy, is high danger chance, 45.83 -44, -14. So what is this? So is in front of the net, right? They gave more chance to opponent team versus them, and that's the reason they are -14 right there. But the save percentage, we are on the top, third in NHL because the goaltender make a big save and they save goal because of Tobesh, honestly. It's funny when you look about the GFVS, the GVSA, because you can see one column Tobesh at the top, you can see one Tabo the top on the wrong side about that. But
yeah,
that gave you guys a little bit what I'm playing for the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to keep this, guys, on the updated everything 10 by 10 game, of course. But I don't want to talk about this. We always talk about overall about those numbers. I'm going to talk about more. I want you to give me your assessment for the players, one by one, line by line, and that will give us a little bit what we got from all of us. Yamo, by the way, welcome back. I forgot your name, I believe. I apologize. So, Caulfield, and you're going to go one by one, but the full line together before we move on to the other one, if you don't mind, like not Slafkovsky 1-1, but full line. So, Marco, you're going to start with that with you about Slafkovsky line.
All right, so we're grading the full line and then each player?
No, player one by one.
Okay. So I'll go left to right. So first Slaf, I'm gonna give him an B plus. I'm gonna be conservative. Like A's are gonna be hard. A pluses are gonna be very hard to get. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna set the standard. So I'm gonna say B plus for Slafkovsky. Like I said, I think very solid start. Very happy with it. I'm gonna say A for Nick Suzuki. I think very good. But I'm gonna give A plus to Caulfield. I'm going to say Caulfield has been a little bit more consistent and a little bit more energetic, and I just think that he's been a little bit superior. Like I know they both play their own role on the line, but I'm going to give a slight edge to Caulfield on this because I just think that his game has reached a whole other level this year. Like not only has he's top of the league in goal scoring as of last night, but his play on both like 200 feet has just been really solid, winning puck battles, coming back, breaking up plays in his own zone. Just like incredible start for Caulfield and just clutch overtime goals. Really strong from Suzuki as well. I'll say A minus, for Suzuki, like just but amazing. Overall, this line has been very good, very happy for the start, but I'm going to give the edge to Caulfield with an A plus for me.
All right. Enortap.
As a line, I would keep them all at A right now. I think that they're working very well together, and we talked about the advanced analytics about them earlier. Slafkovsky, probably I'll go with an A minus. With Suzuki, I'll go with an A, and with Caulfield, he's. I'm a bit hesitant to go A plus just yet, but I'm going to keep it at an A just because I want to see him. I want to see his game consistent throughout the whole year, which I 100% believe he will. He will.
You're just grading the first 10 games. You're not grading his whole year. You're just the first 10 games.
Okay. All right. So I'll give him an A. I'll keep it at an A for now.
So all three A for Enortap.
A minus, A, and A. Yeah.
Okay. And Marco B plus, A plus, Marco.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I'll go with Slafkovsky B plus. I'll go with Suzuki A, and I'll go with Caulfield A for that assessment for the first line. And I think it would take a lot to give A plus for me at the first tranche of the 10. I will keep this a little bit more conversative. But I would say to you, Suzuki, for me, he didn't put the puck in the net yet. He have a great game, a great 10th for game, by the way. Look, but he missed a lot of opportunity for him. Caulfield pretty good overall, but to give him A plus, it's a little bit.
Two overtime goals and the tying goal, and is not enough for you guys for an A plus, but that's okay, I guess.
No, you need.
You can't go higher after. That's the only problem.
I don't think, like, honestly, I can't see Caulfield playing better than he did in the, like, to me, this is peak Caulfield, honestly. Like, his two-way play has been amazing. He's scoring overtime goals, tying goals, really nice at he's passing the puck well. Like, I don't know.
No, yeah, I wouldn't argue against it. It's just that I'm leaving a little bit of leeway. That's the only difference.
All right. I don't see another. To me, he's been Montreal's top player So he's going to
Absolutely.
probably be
Absolutely.
he's going to be the highest grade that I probably give. So
Yeah.
All right, that's the next one. Newhook, Kapanen, and Demidov. Let's go with Enortap.
Okay, with New Hook, I'll go with a B plus. I like how his game has come around this year. There's still a couple of areas of improvement that need to happen before I can get him into the A category. For Kapanen, I would go maybe I'll go with an A minus right now. Same kind of logic with that, and then with Demidov, I'm gonna go with an A.
So B plus, A minus, and A.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Marco.
for Newhook, I'm just because of his adaptability and overall, I think he's been very solid. I'm going to say B plus for Alex Newhook. For Kapanen, I'm gonna give him a B. I think he's been very good, but like I said, consistency. I'd like to see more consistency there. I'd say, very visible and very implicated, maybe for half the games, and the other half, he hasn't been bad, but just not as visible, right? So very good, very happy with his start. So B to me is very good, but like to me, what's to improve there is the consistency a little bit. And Demidov, I'm going to give him a B plus. I think just like when he shines, he shines, right? I just want to see again with him a little bit more consistency throughout the game as well too. Um, Maybe it's also deployment there, like not enough minutes to really get himself into the game. Like I said, I think being on the PP1 is going to really help him get a better feel for the game, getting more touches. But so again, for me with Demidov is again just more consistency throughout the game. There's going to be long periods of the game where you don't really see him too much, but then when he does shine, he'll do something incredible, right? So I'm not criticizing it, like he's very young. Martin Saint Louis has been very conservative with how he's deployed him, so I'm going to say B plus for I think I say yeah. So B plus, B, and B plus is where I
Yep,
would go.
I got you. Enortap, B plus, A minus, and A with Enortap.
Yeah.
B plus for Newhook, B plus for Kapanen, and A minus for Demidov. That'll be my tripler right there for me for that moment right there. I think New York played better what my expectation was, honestly. Kapanen, I understand your point of view, Marco, but I think for as a rookie, that's the reason I gave him a B plus, and we have 4 goals by the way, and that'll give him 32 goals. Like that's crazy. And then Demidov A minus. It's just Demidov. I could give him an A, but A minus because sometimes you have maybe 3 games where it's still that line, by the way.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's me give you my idea about that one over there. A lot of people in the chat. Thanks so much. Don't forget, please click on the like. Anderson, Evans, and Gallagher. Marco.
Yeah, now we're getting it's a little more interesting, right? So for Anderson, he's been very solid on the PK, like kind of continuing that over from last year. Not seeing the as energetic and physical Anderson that we saw for most of last year, even like he was the spiritual leader of this team at times. Like I think Martin Saint Louis called him the ultimate culture driver for the Montreal Canadiens last year. Maybe he's just pacing himself a little bit here, and that's fine, But overall, I'm going to give him maybe like a C plus or like maybe a B minus. Let's go B minus
For
for Josh
Anderson.
Anderson. Yeah, for Josh Anderson. Like again, not hurting the team. We didn't talk about it too much. Like I didn't love the incident there where he, like, again, I didn't agree with the call from the referee, but I didn't like the gesture from Anderson either. You have to be a professional and hold your emotions. So he definitely kind of hurt the team there a little bit with that play, in my opinion. So I'm gonna say B minus for Anderson. Evans, listen, like, really, like, he's so critical to the Montreal's PK and taking all those defensive draws. So he's been excellent on the defensive side of the puck, like we're familiar with, but you haven't really seen much, like zero production from him. And, all of us, I hope that fans don't expect the same productivity that they got last year from Evans. That wasn't my expectation. I think I'd like to see maybe like 8 to 10 goals from Evans, maybe like 25 points is kind of what I was looking for. And, so far I'm just not seeing a lot of, creativity or much going on the offensive side of the puck. So I'm going to say C plus for Evans. Because I don't know, it's because the defensive side is so important, right? I'm tempted. You know what? I'm going to go B minus, same as Anderson. We'll go B minus for Evans. And for Gallagher, I'm actually going to go B plus because I think he hasn't scored yet, but he had that really strong start with Budzick, where it was really impactful. And I think he's still bring a lot of energy. He's on the second power play unit, doing galley things. So I'm going to go B minus, and B plus for Gallagher.
Enortap.
Let's see with Anderson. I mean, I liked last year the way he ended off the year. He had a solid year in many aspects. He really redefined. He had a role, and he redefined himself using that penalty killing role. And he was much more physical. Now this year, I'm not seeing it as much. Unfortunately, at this point, and I think he's like a -1 or -2 overall. So I'm going to give him a C plus right now. I think he'll come around, but it's probably going to take a bit of time. With Jake Evans, it's a similar situation. Like he only has 2 points, but I'm not going to look at just the points because that's not the key component that he has to offer the team, right? It's many little intangibles that come into play with him, and I think that he's been solid in that regard. But ever since he signed the contract, his productivity has gone down a little bit. Not to make a causal relationship here, but cause and effect. But I'm going to go with a C plus for Evans, and for Gallagher, I'm going to give him a B minus. I thought he started off really strong. He's been working very hard. I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got 6 assists, but he's yet to score his first goal, which is very uncharacteristic of him. I'm not expecting the production he got last year, but I think he should be getting a lot more greasy goals in front of the net when he gets the opportunity.
Good point about that. The Flame 4, Rangers 1. Blake Coleman scored his 4 goal, and this time and shot in the about that.
Rangers.
Marco, I think I have B minus, and B plus.
Yep.
Okay, and Enortap C plus, A minus.
No, I gave Gallagher, I believe it was a B minus or B. I can't remember now. I think it was a B minus.
Okay, no A.
No A on that line. No.
Okay, I got it. C plus for Anderson, B minus for Evans, B plus for Evans for Gallagher, and the reason I do that is because the duo Anderson Evans are played together without Gallagher, and then Gallagher joined 3 games, I believe, Marco? 3 games, right?
Yeah.
So I make it fun right there. Gallagher A plus. So my note will be for all of you guys are a little bit more conservative, so I don't want to give too much high number. So I want to be sure everybody understands. But that are my finally the four line before we move on. And if you don't mind, is Budzik, Veleno, and Doc. Marco?
For Budzik, I think this has a lot to do with deployment too, right? Like we're just talking about it. It's hard for him to really have an impact 5-on-5, and so I don't know. People might crucify me on this, but I'm gonna say
If you say, "Hey, I'm going to crucify you," yes.
No. I'm debating between. I'm debating between B- and C+ for Budzik. I'll be positive. I'm gonna say B-. Listen, like he does a lot of small things well. Like I think he is very good at like doing the little things and winning those puck battles. But again, like you just don't see him as much as you would like, during the game, and that's probably just deployment. Like I think you should be a higher leverage. I've learned this expression watching baseball Enortap recently, like high leverage receiver. Like being in positions that are more impactful and everything. So yeah, so they need to put him in higher leverage situations, right, in order for him to really stick out. So I'll be positive. I'll say B- for him, but I think there's more there. For Veleno, so somebody was asking about him earlier. I'm going to give him like a C-. Like he's been okay. Like he's been okay. Like he hasn't hurt Montreal in any way. There's times where he's won some puck battles. There's that one game where he had a really bad giveaway, but then he caused a turnover for goal 4 right after that. So he's been okay. Nothing really to cement his role on the team or anything. Like I think for somebody who's fighting for a job in the NHL, I don't think he's guaranteed himself a spot with Montreal long term or by any means here. I think he's just been okay. So I'm going to say like a C- for him. And for Doc, like I thought that I didn't mind his game before he got injured, to be honest. Like I think he was coming along. And then he had that really, really terrible game in Calgary after he came back from the injury. But then I really liked his game last night. So I'm going to say C+ for Doc. Like I think overall his legs are looking pretty good. He's moving his legs. I'm not seeing as many penalties from him being out of position, chasing guys, being out of breath. Really, it's just like we were talking about before, like just getting that confidence level up and just getting the feel for the game. But a lot of the things that I really, really didn't like about his start last year, him, taking frustration penalties, taking hooking penalties because he was behind. You're not seeing that this year. Like I think the conditioning that he did this summer is really paying off. He just needs to get 30 games under his belt. And last night he looked great. Like he had that spinorama move. He had a couple times where he used his size to kind of like cut into the middle, got a good shot to the net. So, I don't hate Doc's start. So I'm going to say C+. So I'm going to say B-, C-, and C+.
Got it.
Okay, I'll keep it short. I'm given the circumstances, I still like what I'm seeing out of Bolduc, and by that I mean he's playing a little bit lower than I think he can be able to, and yet he's still producing and he's acclimatizing well with the team and the system there. So I'll give him a B. With Veleno, it's been a little bit more disappointing, I've got to say, even though in all fairness, he really didn't get into much action until much later. And he's been sort of thrown around between different positions. But I'll go with a C- with Veleno. And with Doc, lately it's been much better. I'm going to go with a C+.
All right, I got it. The B-, and C+ and after that.
No, B, C-, and C+.
Yeah. I go with the Budzik B-, Joe Veleno C-, and I go with Kirby Dak C. almost like Marco. Marco, he said C plus for Kirby Duck. So let's move on to the next one. It's going to be Dobson and Madison. Let's go with defenseman with Enortap.
Well, with Dobson, I've been I was very high on what he could offer Montreal, and he hasn't disappointed. I think he's really helped solidify that right side for them, and 5-on-5, he's been really showing what he's made out of. I'm going to go with an A for Dobson right now, and the other one is Matheson. Again, I think um, with Matheson, much better than I thought it would be. I kind of agree with you, Marco, that I kind of questioned the pairing initially. I didn't think it would work out well, but you got to give him credit with the when Gouli was there as well as the fourth defenseman. You saw that the ice time for Matheson come down, and we started seeing much more solid play out of Matheson. And I think
But
you
I
know
don't. But honestly, Entertap, I don't think Matheson's ice time has changed that much since Cooley's been gone. I think Matheson has
it's
been
increased. It's increased a little bit, Marco.
not by very much though, right? Like I think he's been the highest. I think he's had the highest minutes of any Montreal defenseman all year consistently, even when Cooley was there.
Yeah. So to be honest, I'll give them both an A.
Put an A. All right, got it. Marco.
So I guess I lied earlier because I thought I didn't really think that. So I said that Caulfield would be the only one to get an A plus. I lied. I think I'm going to give Matheson an A plus. I think he's just been that good. Yeah, for me, I think he's been Montreal's best defenseman. Like the best hockey I've seen him play since he's been in Montreal, and in his career. Like because I had seen him play for other teams. Like I think he's playing the best hockey of his career right now. So I give him an A plus, and I would give Dobson an A as well. Couple turnovers here and there. The first couple games. Let's not forget that Dobson, from all reports we're hearing, is still or was still nursing a bit that groin injury that he got in training camp. He might still have a little bit of that. So I think we've yet to even see the best of Dobson, which is crazy, right? Like imagine when he's completely healthy without that groin issue. So for me, like I said, like to me, this D pairing is the like people are talking about it, but to me, it's the biggest story of the Montreal Canadiens season so far. Like it's the most impactful thing of their season so far is how well this defensive pairing is, and then you add Lena Hudson on top of that. To me, they're the big story of this season so far is how these two play together for sure.
I'll go with A minus for Dobson, and I'll go for A for Mike Madison. So you get what, Marco? I'm sorry, A plus?
A plus for Matheson, A for Dobson.
All right, I got it. Let's move on. Next one, Strubble and Mr. Marco. Strubble and Hudson.
So Struble, a little bit of like a lesser sample size, right? But and again, people are going to think I'm hating on Gouli again, and that's not the case. And Enortap, I disagree a little bit. Like to me, I obviously see a drop off between Gouli and Struble, but Struble does such a good job pairing with Hudson that it really mitigates Gouli's loss incredibly. Like I think Struble has been very, very solid overall since he's came in to fill in for him. So I'm going to give Struble like a solid B plus. Like I think he's been really solid. People want to see him be really flashy or like be really physical. You know how Martin Saint-Louis always says you need to play the game in front of you? That's exactly what Struble does. And that's what I like about him. Is that he plays the game that's in front of him. He does what the game requires of him. And I think he pairs so well with Hudson. So I'm going to say a B plus for him. And, I think Hudson, like, for, maybe like before he signed his contract, I won't say that he was struggling, right? But there was something a little bit off in his play, not by a lot, but just a little something was a bit off. But since then, I think he's been, Lane Hudson, I believe he's second overall right now in scoring for defensemen in the NHL. Last I checked, so I'm going to give Hudson an A. So I think Hudson is still performing at a super high level, and so A for Hudson and B plus for Struble.
Enortap.
With Struble, yeah, he definitely doesn't hurt you out there. But I mean, let's make no mistake about it. I don't think he's near Gooley's atmosphere yet. I think one thing I
Debate
would
that.
like to see Struble do a little bit more is get involved physically. And I'm not alluding to fighting. I'm just talking
No.
about making sure that he completes his checks more often and
But
takes the body a
let's
little
talk
bit
about
more.
but let's talk about that just for a quick second, right?
Okay,
So
go ahead.
because I think a lot of people say that, right? But for him to complete the checks more, does he then get out of position? Right? Like I think he's physical when he needs to be, but he's not going out there doing things that he doesn't like. I haven't seen a time where he hasn't moved a guy, finished a guy that he didn't need to. Like he's clearing the net when he needs to. Like he's winning the battles that he needs to. He's not laying out guys, right? But like,
Yeah,
are
but
you
then
wanting him to
when
go
we
out of his way to be more physical, and then he won't be as effective as he is?
Well, I mean, the onus is not to take a huge risk on that, but I think he has to do it. Like when you compare to Gooley, I mean, he doesn't throw many, but when he does, he throws a check. Like
Okay,
he makes his
But
presence
you're right.
felt, and
Gooley doesn't hit as
and
many.
right, but he does level some players from time to time, and I think that that's a component of his game that's important, right? And he offers so much more, even on defending as well. Um, I'm gonna go personally. I'll go with Struble with a B, and Hudson. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to give him something high, but I think that there's still a little bit more improvement to go with him, especially when you compare it at the pace he was going last year. So I'm going to go with A minus. No, actually, I'll go with an A. I'll go with an a B and an A.
Okay, got it. I go Hudson A, and I go with Struble C plus.
Wow, c'est va,
For Struble.
coach.
C
va.
plus
What did
for
you go with,
Struble.
Marco? What did you go with?
I went B plus for Struble.
Yeah, no, you
And
have B
Hudson?
plus and Enortap B,
A,
and me I have C plus.
A for Hudson. B plus for
Okay.
Struble and A for Hudson.
Yep.
Okay.
Next one, Jekai et Carrier. Enortap.
I mean, with Jack Eye, it's such a conundrum, right? Like I feel like here's a player that needs to be developed and developed properly, and he's not given much of a leash to do that in. Yes, does he get some bad penalties from time to time? Absolutely. But if the immediate reaction to that action is to sit him down either the next game or the entire third period, well, you're not going to get that development in there. I mean, I think part of the learning and developing is saying, okay, you made this mistake, you know about it, let's get back out there and improve on that. But having said that, I'm not 100% pleased with his play. Like he's at a -2 this year, and even though I think he's one of the leaders in hits, if I'm not mistaken, on the team, which is good. But I think a little bit more is expected. So I'm going to go with a C minus with Arbor, and with Carrier, I'm going to go with a B.
Oh man, I hate talking about Jaka because everybody thinks like you're hating on the guy or whatever. But you know, I was like, so I disagree a little bit with what you're saying there, Undertap, about like, notice we're not using learning and development too much in our narrative with Montreal this year because I think we're past that, right? Like, I think yes, like if you're bringing in a player like Demidov or like Kapanen, like those, okay, they're rookies, but Jack Guy's in his third season pro, right? So we're not in the learning and development stage with him anymore. Like he's got to start showing that he can execute on what Martin Saint-Louis wants him to do, which is he's not asking him for much. He's asking for him to, like close on guys, make sure that his gaps are good, that his first passes are simple, that he's handling pucks cleanly, and making good reads, right? And I'm just not seeing that from him. Other than penalties and all that. Like, listen, we know what Xhekaj can bring physically. We get that. We get that he's a presence and everything. But to me, he's he's not really contributing too much to the team. Like he hasn't really been that effective killing penalties. So I'm going to say D plus for Xhekaj. Like,
B plus.
to me, D plus. Yeah, D plus for
B
Xhekaj.
plus for Xhekaj. Wow.
Yeah. Really not impressed at all with his start.
So
Like
here's the thing, Marco. Here's the thing, and again, I understand a lot of the points, but with Xhekaj, we're really coming at a crossroad with him on this team, right? Here we say on the one hand that, hey, you know what? If he were to put on waivers, you have 31 teams that will line up and go after him, right?
Oh yeah,
So
he's still a good athlete.
clearly, if he's being branded one way and teams that are admiring what he has to offer, then the onus has to be on the coaching to make sure that whatever mistakes that he's persistently making, whether they're due to discipline issues or stupid penalties, the teaching has to change. If my entire class fails this test, it's on me. I have to change the way my expectations for that test are. I have to put him in a position.
The entire
But I
class
have to
isn't.
put him, no, but in this case, I'm referring, when I say the entire class, I mean the entire approach that's been used with him so far hasn't worked. So therefore, that process or the message and how it's delivered has to change so that he
Or maybe,
can
but I think what
experience
they're
some success.
But what they're evaluating, I think, with him, like remember they were having this debate last year, and Saint Louis said this, and some people did relay this to Arbor. Remember they were having that big debate about playing like the kind of like zone, like the hybrid defensive system in their own zone. And Saint Louis said, like, this is how teams play. And you know what? We're going to learn if the player can't play that system, that's the system that we're going to play. Right. So maybe it's just Xhekaj doesn't have the ability to play within the system that Montreal has. And I don't think it's really a coaching thing at this point. I think it's just, is this the right system for Arbor to play in? I don't know. I'm not an expert, right? I mean, we're not in the room to understand. All I know is that he's not able to kind of to fit into what they're trying to do here, which is to play in that hybrid system where sometimes you're in a zone, sometimes it's man on man. It's just not working super well, right? So, and I love the guy. Like I think he's a great kid. I love the.
Yeah,
Montreal needs a player like Xhekaj. So I agree with everyone that like it would be great. My ultimate wish is that he could just be who he is and just do the bare minimum that they need so that he would be dependable back there. But he hasn't
I
been
agree.
that.
I agree with that, but I think that teaching moment has to exist. And my dilemma with it all is if his ice time is going to be reduced or he's not going to be playing, then the development is not occurring. That's my only issue. So
But it's
it's
not about.
almost it's a catch 22. Like in order to
I
develop
don't
to
think it's
something
about
that you want
development.
me to,
But it's not about development, Enortap. It's about he's just not like developing meanings that you're still you have like a ceiling that you're trying to get. Sometimes there's just a player doesn't have the ability to execute. He doesn't have the skill set to execute what you need them to do. If you move Xhekaj to another team that only plays zone defense, he might be able to assimilate that a lot better. So I don't think it's about development. It's maybe just more about fit within the type of system that Montreal wants to play. Like at this point,
well,
either you get it or you don't. Like I think we're at that stage with Montreal where they're no longer at that like development stage. Like they need results. They need guys that can go on the ice, and unless you're a pure rookie and you're somebody that again, like you're going to expect some growing pains from rookies with really high ceilings, you're going to expect things like that. But for a bottom D pairing, you just can't have. Anyways, we can have a whole other debate about Xhaka.
I
I know
know,
we're
yeah.
going a bit deep, but so really quickly for me, listen, I won't be mean. We'll say like a C minus or whatever. I don't want to be a dick about it, but he's definitely the lowest scoring guy for me and the whole team. And for Carrier, you guys, I think, had him at a B. To me, I I value him a lot. Like, I think certain people were asking who's the glue. To me, Carrier is the glue in that decor, because depending on the score of the game, he's being moved up. Like, look at what they did with him in Edmonton. They moved him up with Hudson at certain times. Like, to me, he's kind of like the Swiss Army knife, like a Paul Byron, but on the decor. Like, he's mostly going to play on the bottom pair, but he can come up and play on the top four when you're closing out a game. He's so reliable. I know he didn't have his best game last game, but overall, he's such a dependable guy. He's such an important part of the team. I'm going to say B plus. So whatever you want to put there, Coach, for Xhaka, and then I'll say B plus for Carrier.
Xhaka, you gave me B plus before.
No, I said D minus at first.
I'm sorry?
I said D minus. Initially, I said D minus for Xhaka, but then I was, that's a bit harsh. So I'll say, let's say just a D. For
that's the third grade you gave.
I don't know. I would have been a terrible teacher.
I gave you a D for Xhaka.
Yeah, and you can give me a D for how well I do at this game.
That's okay.
And yeah,
Xhaka is C minus for you and Enortap.
Yes, C minus. Yeah,
and you have B for Carrier.
Yes.
Okay.
I got B plus for Carrier.
Yeah, I go with Carrier at B minus for me, and I'll be generous. I'll go C minus for Xhaka. I'm not going to give any D tonight, but I'll give that one C minus for Xhaka. Two players are honestly injury, but we have to give them the note. I'm going to go with 92 and with 21. So with Laine and a goalie, I'm going to start with Marco on that one.
So I'm going to try to pick it up because I feel like, we're already running a bit late here. So with Patrick Laine, I'm going to say C minus. We learned that he was playing with a groin injury. Didn't really score, but I think a lot of effort on the back end, and overall a good commitment. Like, he didn't hurt the team, so I'm going to say C minus. But unfortunately, he got injured. With Gouli, I'm going to say B plus. Like a really solid, really solid start to the year. Like, really good compliment with Hudson. So really strong start for Gouli before he got injured.
After.
Well, the thing with Laine is we weren't seeing where he fits on the team, and that presented a huge issue for him. One of the things I did see initially, at least, was that there was some improvement in his 5-on-5 play. He was definitely looking to improve that aspect of his game, but ultimately, I mean, if you're a power play specialist and you have 0 goals, it presents itself as an issue. So I'm going to say a C for Laine. And for Gouli, I was really liking what I was seeing this year. I thought he was very reliable defensively, and he was chipping in with some points as well. So I'm going to go with a B plus with Gouli.
And Laine?
C.
C?
C.
Yeah. I have the same note. C for Laine and B plus for Kieran Gouli.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we are the same. And finally, Marco, we have 2 goaltenders. You can start with whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll start with Monty here. So it's been pretty tough, right? So I'm going to have to say C minus for him in terms of a start. He did get a couple wins. Like, I think overall he's 2-4 on the season right now. But 2 and 3. 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
So listen, still got a couple of wins, and there's parts of the year where he was okay, but obviously we know he hasn't been at the optimal level. So I'm going to say C minus. And for Dobesh, almost perfect, start to the year. So I'm going to give him an A. But I think, yeah, like very, very little to say about Dobesh in a negative way. Like he's been arguably Montreal's most important player here. Like, and so important considering like with the tough start that Monty had, where would Montreal be right now if they didn't have Dobesh? And you can say the same thing last year. Would they have made the playoffs without Dobesh last year? The answer is no. So strong A for Dobesh so far.
Enortap.
I'll start with the easier one, Dobesh. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this before, and even about Montebo. With Dobesh, he's how can you? He's 5-0. He's leading the league, I think, in goals against at I think 175 or something like that, and his save percentage is somewhere north of 940, I believe. So, that to me that's solid numbers. I originally had written down here an A. And I didn't want to give out any A pluses, but how can I not in this circumstance, right? So I'm going to give him an A plus. With Montebo, look, I know where he came from and what he's done for us in the past, and that's all fantastic. I've seen the growth and development in him, and without him in the past, I think we would have been a lot worse, and I don't think we'd make the playoffs last year without him. However, we're not seeing that this year, and I don't want to go into it now, but I went into a number of issues that needed addressing, and my only concern is I don't see that those issues having been improved upon. And I named about 4 or 5 of them. And so at this point, the fact that he didn't really like his summer was kind of off this year when he went to that clinic and then he got married. So I'm questioning whether he's in the proper fitness state at this stage, and he's also battling. I think mentally he's battling a lot of things as well. Like I think he knows he has to be a number one in a year that's extremely important. He knows he wants to go back to the Olympics and represent Canada, and that's creating pressure as well. And so it's almost like he's his own worst enemy at this stage. I think he can correct it, but at this stage, his numbers just don't defend what we're seeing on the ice. So I'm going to give him a D.
Yikes!
A
So
B.
Enortap, like,
A B.
just
D
D.
D
D.
D.
Wow. And Enortap, I did see your. I think I saw your segment where you were talking about some of the things you were noticing about Monty. And I don't know if you watch Kipper and Bourne, but you know how they have like a Steve Valaket that comes on there,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
New York Rangers, that guy, and he's like a really good at analytics and he looks a lot of goaltending stuff. And one of the things that he brought up with Montebo, and it's something that we should maybe look at. It'd be great to get him on the show. Like to get there's not many goaltending experts out there, like analysts, right? But one of the things that he talks a lot about Monty a lot is his ability, like his vision through traffic. Like his ability to pick up pucks through traffic is one of the big ones. And one of the things that we might want to look at, guys, in track is there something different with the way Montreal plays in its D zone where it's where it's making it harder for Monty to see the puck, because we know that one of his biggest problems is tracking pucks through traffic. So is there something different this year in how Montreal is allowing traffic to be in front of them, their defensive schemes whether it's on the PK or a 5-on-5, and maybe that's something that Monty needs to adjust to as well. I think Steve Valaket at the beginning of the year, they were asking him like, which goalies you think are a bit overrated, and he had Monty at the top of the list because that was something that he was tracking. And the fact that what he saw from Montreal is that they had changed how they play in their back end. So we won't deep dive into it right now, but maybe that's something we need to look at is what is Monty's biggest weakness as a goalie, and how does it match up to how Montreal is playing? And has that changed since last year? And maybe that's something that's causing the issues.
That might have a role. That might have a role, Marco. I agree, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think I had sort of delineated about 4 or 5 areas that really need addressing. Right, like him staying down as much as he does is an issue. He doesn't use his goalie stick very well. He's solid in close, but he doesn't come out to cut angles very well. If you notice the goals he's allowed, they've all been from the wing side, most of them, off of shots that you say, I don't know, that could have been stopped. So I think that's and I said it before, it's a goalie coach mistake, because these things are all very correctable. It's just about reps and implementing them into your game until you feel comfortable with it and it comes automatically. But for some reason, I don't see a step forward with that. So I don't even want to blame Monte as much as I want to blame the goaltending coach.
There's a lot of thing in goaltending. There's a lot of thing in goaltending. Like when you say, like we hear that a lot, right? Like, well, he's on the ground too much, but that's, like you said, that's how they coach goalies how to play, right? So I think with goaltending, it's such
But
a
then
voodoo, right?
we're seeing a drastic difference between him and Dobesh. Like, you notice Dobesh, when he goes down, he pops up right away. And that's exactly what he needs to do, because it makes him larger than that. And it's harder for scorers to try to get it past him when he does that.
I don't know if I don't know. I haven't seen evidence of that. Like maybe eye test wise, with goaltending, it's so, yeah, like it's, I don't know. I have to dig deep into it. Like it's harder to get analytics on goaltending. Like goaltending is so weird compared to all the other positions, right? But yeah, it's something we have to look at. But I think I still have confidence overall that Monty's going to battle through it.
He can,
And I think he'll be able to battle through it. But it's been a tough start.
I go with C- for Montembeault. That would give me all my number between the lowest. And I gave my first A+ of the night. I gave to Dobesh for everything. And Marco, you have plus A+ for Caulfield for you.
And Matheson.
And you have also a Madison A+, no D for your part.
I think I went with Arbor. Let's have D for
yeah,
Arbor,
I apologize. I apologize. You give D for Jekai. I apologize for that one.
That's the fourth. That's the fourth grade.
Yeah, fourth one.
I apologize for that one. I think you gave Madison A+, Mr. Enortap, on that, and your first D is Montembeault and Tobash A+.
Yeah.
So that's what we give you. Prediction, guys, before we go. 2 game this week, easy week. We want to congratulate a couple of you. Have 6 points last week. And they are Guy, Pierre W, Marc Elliott, Enortap, Frank, and A2, plus myself, have 6 point prediction. And Guy is on the back-to-back win, by the way, Mr. Guy. So, Mr. Marco, going to start with you. How many points Montreal this week?
Oh, man. Well, it's going to be good for them to get to kind of chill a little bit this week. They've had a pretty busy start to the season here. But I'm going to say they're going to get 2 points. Seattle's playing some really strong hockey, coach. So I think it's going to be a tough one for them there. And I think I think they're going to win against Ottawa. So I'm going to say they're going to go 1-1 this week. But I'll be happy if I'm wrong. And they go. I'm hoping for 2-0, but I think they'll go 500.
Right. And then Marc Enortap.
I think they'll go 500 as well, but I think that one loss will be in overtime. Even though I like what I see in overtime, because when they're 3-on-3, their skill level is through the roof. And when you give those 3 or 4 players, 5 players, the ice time that they need, they're effective. But I'm going to go with 3 points.
Enortap, go with 3. How about that? Thanks so much. I go with 4.
There you go.
I go with 4. I think Montreal going to get there. About that, the first time the people talk, Marco, I will take a note. 2 notes to give me. Martin Saint-Louis et the team.
From Martin Saint-Louis, I'm going to say A. Little impatient with him, getting Demidov on that first power play unit, but he's there now. And overall, I think, lots of it was a tough challenge for him, right? Like it's a lot of anything after that first line. It's a bit of a puzzle to put together. So I think he's done a good job putting these lines together and, going through the first part of the season. So A for Martin Saint Louis, and overall for the team, I'm going to give them an A as well. Very good. Going 7-3 to start the season, with room, going 7-3, and I think we all agree they can still play much better. So to me, really, really good start. And the one thing that I like is that it seems like they know they can get better. You don't want them to get fooled by their own results and read their own press. I think St. Louis has them really focused on the process, not just the result. So hopefully they don't start dipping and just start getting lazy and think that they can win the easy way. But so far, A for St. Louis and the team.
A team A minus. Enortap.
Oh, for me, I'll give Marty. I'm going to go with an A minus for Marty. I think he's done a lot of things right, but the only one area that I'd like to see him improve upon is trying to, trying to establish a little bit more confidence with some of the players that are being developed. It looks like when it comes late in the game, he does tend to go with the experience and worry about getting the 2 points right away, which I think is extremely important. But I think the
Yes.
development is also extremely important.
No,
And
that's a couple
and
times
you
you
have
said that.
to,
That's a couple of
yeah,
times you said that, but
yeah.
you're still on that mind frame, man. Like I think we're past that, man. Like I think we're past the development stage at this point. I don't think they're
No,
thinking
but
about that at all.
I don't think that they're at a stage because they don't have they still have to manage the team within the system that they have. So if you don't give the responsibility to the players to try to get to the level that you want them to, well, you shouldn't be surprised if you're overusing certain players. And when you overuse certain players, that could eventually have an effect on their effectiveness as well. So that's the
We've
only
seen that.
area. Like I think he does a great job of motivating the players. I mean, you take that either the Ranger game or the Edmonton game. I mean, it would have been easy just to come out the next game and look absolutely horrible, but he gets them to say, okay, that's the past. Let's look forward to the next game and get the 2 points here, and he does a great job there. In terms of the team overall, I'll give them I mean, you can't argue their record, so I'm going to go with an A minus as well. Both of them A minus.
Good. I go with A for Martin Saint Louis, and I go with A minus for the Montreal Canadiens on that one. And that's pretty much what we got right now. We did everything. I'm going to keep all your notes,
Yeah.
so go on the spreadsheet. So next time we can compare Marco Suzuki. I would tell you minus A the last time, so we can keep up all the 10 trenches every time that. So I think that would turn around to be good for everyone here.
Yeah.
Marco, last word, and we'll go with your music, and then you can go also with Enortap. What are you looking for Montreal this week? Something specific?
Yeah, like I said, I think for me, what I'm looking for is, making sure that they continue to play the right way, coach. Like I just said, great first 10 games, 7-3, but don't forget how you got there, right? Like Montreal really focus on those really, really good exits and strong transition game. So spending a little bit more time in their own zone in the last couple of games. So I want to see them get back to what they were doing really well in the beginning. It's going to be tough though. Seattle's playing really well, and we know the Sens, it's always a battle. So it should be 1 week of hockey, a little bit of time for Monty to go back with his goaltending coach and everything else. So should be a little bit more relaxed week, but should be fun.
Marco, we have the the goalie coach inside the Hockey Nation. So going to ask him who's going to be between the pipe tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday, Mr. Enortap.
I think it'll be split. I think we're going to see Dobesh against Seattle and Monte against Ottawa.
Marco, are you agree or disagree?
You know what? I think they might want to give Monty a little bit more. It all depends where he is with his process with Raymond, right? So, but I think for sure they're going to split the games. I'm not sure where Monty is in his process. They might want more time with the goalie coach. So I don't know, but I think they are going to split. You're not going to want Monty not playing a game for almost 2 weeks, right? So he's got to be in for at least one of them.
I think they go to Tobesh and Montebo on that next week, but Commenson maybe go with Tobesh both. If Tobesh does a great game tomorrow, we have to wait and see because if Tobesh get a shootout tomorrow.
Yeah, you can't leave Monty that long without playing though, man.
I know. It's a.
All right. Thanks so much, both of you, to be with us. Great night. A lot of people in the night. Great to have a great weeks. And I will give you a little bit. Marco, see what happened with the baseball, everything. So we have to wait a little bit more, push maybe out. But look forward to see all of you next week at the time. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. And I can wait to see you somewhere during the week. Have an amazing, great week, Mr. Marco and Enortap.
Good night, everyone.
Here we go, guys. Let's conclude another The Red Light Show on the Hockey Nation on the great Sunday night, October 26th. We love talking about sport, talking about hockey. Tomorrow night, we are back, but it's about the baseball. The Blue Jays versus the Dodgers going to be live, and we're going to follow this. That's maybe the good time because Montreal play only 2 games. We're going to be back at Tuesday night for the hockey at 10:30 p.m. Following the Montreal Canadiens. So stay tuned with us. Don't forget, please, to click on the like before you get out of the show tonight. Until then, my friend, the only reason we get better is because you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. We have 2 great. You are awesome. I don't know. Here we go. We're going to shut down him. Shut up. Anyway, great night. Great. We are lucky to have Enortap back in the house, and Marco come deliver great contents again every night. Glad to see both of them with me, and I enjoy to be with all of us together. Great for moderator, Mr. Run with Kings tonight. We appreciate all of you to click on the likes. As you can about the news and update. Until then, my friend, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? Someone was said, of course, 2025. The Hockey Nation, the Ab Nation, and all the animals in the kingdom of the Thailand. Want to tell one more thing, sir. We love you, friends. Thanks so much. I just want to share one more thing before we go. I'm very grateful and thankful for all of you, for everything you do here at the channel, just to show up. It's already a great to see all of you to be with us every single night. So I can't wait for tomorrow night. Until then, I wish you an amazing, great weeks, an amazing, great night. And of course, booyah!